I'm Zoe Romanowski with Aleteia Media, and I'm speaking with Dr. Kathleen Berchelmann, a pediatrician and assistant professor of pediatrics at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri. Dr. Berchelmann, a couple weeks ago there was an article in The Guardian about the commercialization of breast milk. The writer questioned the benefits of breast milk, saying that most studies conflate causation with correlation and that we don't know why breast milk is healthier for children. It may be that breastfed children are just privileged in other ways. How do you respond to that?
I have to completely disagree. There's such a large body of evidence that shows the benefits of breast milk to infants, especially sick infants. And that article talked a lot about donated milk. So we know that babies who are breastfed do better on many scales, especially common viral illness. They do so much better. They have so many fewer illnesses. And actually, overall mortality rate is lower for breastfed infants. So you have to take these things into account. So if we had a vaccine that provided all the benefits that breastfeeding does over formula, I guarantee you every infant would get it and our government would provide it. So we can't underestimate the benefits of breastfeeding. Now, it is true that it's very hard to do a scientific study that really looks at babies who only got milk that was bottle fed, express breast milk that was bottle fed. It's very hard to do that study because there are very few of those infants. And so looking at the benefits of breastfeeding, especially amongst children who only got donated or pumped milk, it would be a very hard study to do.
Now, commercialization of breast milk means pasteurization. Could that not jeopardize some of the beneficial health aspects of breast milk for young children?
But actually, we know that babies in our NICU who get donated human milk, so milk from another mom that's been tested and pasteurized, still have better outcomes than those same babies who are fed formula. So we can't ignore this reality that breast milk still provides a kind of therapy that beats formula, even our best formula. And for our sickest babies, it's still the best choice.
Okay. Now, according to the same article, a bioscience company that already buys and sells breast milk raised $46 million from investors, betting that breast milk is the future. Do you think we're going to see commercial breast milk take off?
Well, it's interesting. That company isn't usually buying milk from moms. That company makes deals with birthing centers and hospitals, and you can bring your milk to those places and donate it, and then the company buys it from the hospital. So it's sort of a fundraising benefit to the hospitals and birthing centers. And I kind of have a little bit of an ethical problem with that because the moms aren't really aware most of the time that their milk is really being sold. So what they're doing is by donating their breast milk, they are providing a benefit for the sick babies who get that milk, but they're also providing a financial benefit to whatever center is collecting that milk. Instead, you can also donate your milk directly to other milk banks that are entirely not for profit. So I think if you're a mom that really wants to do this wonderful service of donating your milk to sick babies, you should be careful who you donate to.
Well, as you just said, breast milk has been shared for time immemorial. Lots of places in the world still share breast milk. The U.S. has had milk banks for a long time, nonprofits and other kind of centers. Are there, from a health perspective, are there concerns we should have about big business or biotech industries getting involved with selling breast milk?
I think that we've done it for so long and so well without big business involved that we really probably don't need to, especially when you're talking about that milk that is pasteurized and given to our extremely ill infants. Now, there's a huge other market, which is called small business. These are all the moms selling their milk on Craigslist and through organizations like Milkshare. And some moms are donating, a lot of them are selling. A lot of moms just have relationships with a neighbor or a friend that they pump and give their milk on a daily basis. And we have to be far more careful about that. There's actually a very good study. There's several studies, but one in particular that showed that the majority of milk that's shared contains large amounts of bacteria, and it's not pasteurized. So if you're donating or selling your milk and it's not pasteurized, I am very concerned about the risks associated with feeding that milk to babies.
So really quickly, what advice would you give, say, to a mom who can't produce breast milk, might have adopted a child, wants to look into a donated breast milk? What should she know? What should she do?
I would make sure that you're using pasteurized milk. So you can use milk that's donated through an organization that's providing pasteurization rather than buying it directly from a donor. And also those organizations are going to provide testing of the donating mom and of the milk. And lots of things like hepatitis C and HIV can be transmitted through breast milk. Hepatitis C is less clear, but definitely CMV and other viruses can be transmitted. So you want to make sure that you have a healthy donor.
Or maybe give your baby to your lactating sister for a bit.
So plenty of people do that. And I've had people come into the hospital where, it's a new mom. She had a traumatic delivery. She's not producing enough milk, and you have a sick baby, and her sister shows up with milk. And our answer to that is that we cannot recommend giving any baby unpasteurized milk from unpasteurized or untested milk. But what you give to your baby in your own room is up to you. But I would be extremely cautious, even if you completely trust your sister that she's not on drugs, not taking medications, and doesn't have HIV or CMV or another virus. I would still be very cautious to be sure that milk was really pumped in a clean environment and stored appropriately and doesn't contain large amounts of bacteria, which could put that newborn at risk.
Okay, Dr. Berchelmann, thank you for speaking with Aleteia Media today.
Always a pleasure.